Okay, here is the paper that we're going to use as the mat. So this is going to be the first thing we're going to lay down. Again, we're on page 8. And on top of this, we're going to have this double flap. And that is going to be page 8. So it's a nice simple page. On page 8, you're going to make a double flap, and it's going to be, and I need to take off my magnets because I know I'm going to move them. It is going to be 11 by 6. Is that right? 11 by 6? 11 by 6 1/4. 11 by 6 1/4. You're going to score at 4 1/4 and 4. I'm sorry. Let me start over. 11 by 6 1/4. You're going to score at 5 1/4 and 5 3/4. Sorry about that. All right. And what I'm going to do, let's get this tape off, is in the first one on page 1, I put the mat in, and then I laid this down, and then wound up hiding a magnet behind a tag behind this. And instead of doing that this time, I think I'm going to install the double flap, and then put a magnet on the back of this page, and then adhere it to the pocket page. Hopefully that all makes sense. So I'm just going to eyeball it, and I want it a little bit, I think I'm going to put it a little bit high on the page, and I'm going to do a little bit of embellishing down here. And I'll tell you roughly what I'm doing. So I want to come down 1.5 inches from the top, I think. And that's about 1 inch from the spine. I'm just going to look at it for a second and decide if I like this. Actually, I think it's a little too high. So let's look at 1/2 inch. That's 1.5 inches. That's too high. So let's look at 2 inches. Yeah, let's come down about 2 inches from the top, and then we're just going to kind of roughly center it. And I'm just going to eyeball it. You don't need to measure it. It's the only feature on the page. So just whatever looks pleasing with the pattern that you've got. This pattern is from the 12 by 12 collection pack. And I'm going to come down, so it's going to be about right here. So I'm going to put my ruler over here just so I get a straight line. And that looks good. There we go. That's in. So those are our 2 flaps. We do have a magnet here, so now we just need to tape one onto the back. Right there. Cover it with some double-sided tape. And now this is all ready to be installed onto the pocket page. Okay, so we'll pull the pocket page back in. Okay, it looks good. And I actually installed this the wrong way, but I'm not going to change it. Usually and it's not that significant, usually I like my scored edge to be next to the spine. And this is the spine, and this is the pocket side of page 8, so you can flip it on the other side. It's far enough away from the hinge area that there's no risk of it actually interfering, so I'm going to leave it as is. But I actually meant to turn it the other way, but not a big deal. Sorry, I was having a hard time getting a hold of that. Let's get some glue on here. Okay. And I had already trimmed this down and added some ink to the edges. And I only ink the edges because I don't like the white core to be exposed, but because we're working with a cream book, it really wouldn't stand out that much. Certainly not like it does on a black book. Okay, and that is the base of page 8. So let me line up my designer paper, and remember there's a magnet through here, so that's nice. And when I come back, we'll lay in the designer papers. Do a little bit of housekeeping while I'm away. Okay, be right back. All right, everybody, I've lined up my papers to finish page 8, and we've got, it's pretty simple. It's just a couple of flaps. We've got a couple of decisions to make. That's 1, that's 2. That's tough. I'm gonna have a hard time making that decision. I think I'm gonna go with the roses. Yeah, I like it. So we're gonna do the roses on top, and this is, I'm not sure, I think it's from the 8x8 collection. Yes, it's from the 8x8 collection. Okay, and then on the flip side, this is also from the 8x8 collection. It's just that paper cut in half, and then I just got I'm gonna do an alternating pattern on this side. This is the other option, but I kind of like this. I think it's just going to be easier to lay a picture down on this. Yeah. And the other one's just busier with this background. So this is the plan. Okay. I do half inch. Okay, I'm going to cut a strip off this and lay it inside. Okay. There we go. We're going to ink it. Okay, looks good. And we'll lay down this piece, and then we're going to trim the last piece to fit. there we go. And then our last flap here. I have another option, or do I? No, it's not tall enough. This is my other option, and this I think is just too busy. I think I'll go with this. You can put a nice photo up here, some journaling. Okay, this is going to wrap it up for page 8. Page 8, and then there's a magnet in here. It's hard to feel it. There it is. That's holding this all down, but it's on the back. It's on the underneath of this mat. If you were watching earlier, you saw me do that. I did a different process for page 1. I hid it underneath a tag. That's it for page 8. Let's see. When I get back, I think we're going to focus on getting the cover done. Okay.